The Surfer is the newest film starring Nicolas Cage, and it is weird. It's a psychological thriller where Cage's character is returning to his childhood home in Australia, and he wants to take his son surfing at the beach he used to surf at when he was younger. But the local surfers won't allow them in the water. They say you don't live here, you don't surf here. So the whole movie takes place on this beach and in the nearby parking lot as Nicolas Cage slowly deteriorates more and more and gets tormented more and more by these people and loses his grip on reality because he just wants to surf. This is the perfect movie for Nicolas Cage in the era of his career that he is in. If you have been a fan of some of the weirder projects that he has taken on recently, this is another one. The fact that you have an actor like him in the leading role who is not afraid to be crazy and lean fully into the material really helps it, because this character is somebody who is kind of trying to recapture his glory days. He wants to rebuy his childhood house, and he thinks if he's able to do that, that'll kind of fix his problems. He's estranged from his wife. He doesn't seem that close with his son. He kind of regrets his career choices because even though he's made money over the years, what he used to do was so much more actually rewarding and fulfilling for him. If he can just get that house, if he can get that thing, that'll be the solution to his problems, right? And as he's trying to close the deal on this house and these surfers continue to torment him over the course of days, he continuously just loses pieces of himself. Literally, like every scene, he'll lose another something. He'll have to give someone something as collateral so that he can use the phone because his is out of battery, or he'll get something stolen from him. He just keeps losing things. He gets dirtier. He's running out of food and water. You get to the point where you're having these dialogue scenes and flies keep landing on his face. He hasn't had any water, so his voice starts to get like this after a while. And he starts getting more and more desperate and losing his grip on reality. And we start to lose track of what may or may not even be real. And Nicolas Cage is the perfect guy to sell that. He's really fun. And I really like how the movie plays around with that. After a while, it starts to become really unclear what is or isn't actually going on here. Was the information we were presented with at the beginning about this character even true at all? A lot of it is treated very ambiguously, to the point where there's a certain picture of a few characters that we see, and one of the characters' faces is scratched out just because it's trying to keep us guessing about certain things as much as possible. There's one scene that I was certain had to be a dream, and he was going to wake up right after. In many other movies, it would have been a dream sequence. And yet it wasn't. It was just dream-like, because this movie very much creates a dreamlike, surreal atmosphere by the way it's shot, and then the music as well takes on this kind of fantastical tone at times that you might not expect from a movie like this, and so it really creates this feeling that you're not quite in reality. And Julian McMahon plays the leader of these surfers. He's essentially a cult leader. He's wearing a long red robe. They bow down to this man. It's a surfing cult. And I haven't seen him in anything in quite a while. I think he's been doing a lot of TV stuff, so it's nice to see him here, especially in an antagonistic role, and he's really good. And these guys are so infuriating to watch because Nicolas Cage doesn't seem to be doing anything wrong. He just wants to surf with his son. He's trying to buy a house, and they are just fucking with him so hard over and over again. And it's like, what is the deal? Is it really just because you're so proud of being locals and you hate anybody who isn't from here? I mean, he is from here. Cage's character was born here. He just doesn't live here now. And you hate that so much. You're doing all these terrible things to these people just because they don't live here. What is your problem? They're very detestable. And one of the things the movie is about is this kind of toxic cult that people could get sucked into because they feel like they need certain things in their life, either because of expectations they've set for themselves or that society has set for them, that this is what you're supposed to have accomplished, how you're supposed to find happiness, maybe even things they did used to have, and they're trying to relive those glory days like Cage's character kind of is. And when they don't have that, they feel like they need this outlet to let off steam and kind of be with the boys in this kind of separate section of their life away from the rest of their lives, which can be totally fine and healthy. but the way they do it, they just take it to these ridiculous extremes. Like Julian McMahon's character says at one point, I'm not talking about being like our father's generation and repressing everything. We just need this thing off to the side that's just for us, this outlet for us. And it just shows how somebody could get sucked into that kind of alpha asshole bullshit and how it can be done and expressed in a very unhealthy way. And it's also about the kind of things that do make you happy, the things that you think will make you happy, and then you end up going on this journey and suffering in many ways that lead you to finding out what it is that you actually value and what you really needed all along. So it has those relevant topics woven into the narrative pretty well, but you can also enjoy it just on the surface level as a good classic Nicolas Cage freak-out movie as you watch this man lose his grip on reality. And I'm actually surprised by the end how unambiguous a lot of it turned out. We get answers to pretty much everything. Throughout the movie, I'm questioning so much. I'm really getting absorbed into the surreal atmosphere that's being created here. But everything is basically explained by the end, and I was resistant to it. Even when we're getting to the end of the movie, explanations are coming. I'm like, I don't believe you. I'm still not trusting you. I don't know if he's even seeing that right now, if any of the information we got earlier was even true, and maybe it's actually been like this the entire time. Eventually, finally, I did have to accept, okay, you're telling me the truth here. It took me a while to get there, though, because I was so wrapped up in the dreamlike reality that the idea that the movie would just answer my questions didn't occur to me, but it does. But the tone is still definitely over the top and exaggerated. There are certain scenes that are still exaggerated, like Nicolas Cage definitely interpreted that and saw that in a way other than how it actually happened. Or did he? I would say so. He was out there in the heat with no water. He was stressed. He was irritated. He was definitely seeing some shit a little off kilter. But we do get a lot of answers, and some of them felt like a little bit of a stretch to me. Felt like, could that really have worked out in that way? But it still mostly works because the tone of the movie had been kind of over the top the whole time, and even once you're getting the answers, you've been accustomed to the dreamlike nature of the entire thing, so the movie never really presented itself as hyper-realistic. So the answers still mostly work. They do a good job hammering home the themes of the movie. They didn't completely work for me. I almost feel like I might have enjoyed it more if it had remained more ambiguous. I would have been excited to jump back in for a rewatch and see if I noticed any different details or if I interpreted differently. I liked the answers. I thought they were fine. They worked pretty well, but didn't love them. Although they do make sense for where the story was going and the message of the whole thing. I also think it did drag just a little bit because it's such a limited location. There's not a ton to do, but they still mostly do a really good job with that. Even though we're in this parking lot for so much time, there's such a limited number of things Cage can even do. The performance is fun, the dreamlike nature is fun, and the way he's changing so much from scene to scene. There's flies on his face now. Now there's a rat. What is he gonna do with the fucking rat? Now he has coffee spilled all over him. Now a bird just shit on him. Like, you're just watching the deterioration. So they do a good job keeping it fun and fresh, even with the limited location. And it is luckily a beautiful location, even though he's not allowed to go surf. You want him to be able to, because it's a nice looking beach, and you want to be able to enjoy it, but everybody is such an asshole that you can't. So I definitely think it's worth seeing in theaters if you're into the weird Nicolas Cage shit. If you just want simple and straightforward storytelling, that's not really what you get here. There was also a live-streamed Q&A after the film with Nicolas Cage and the director, Lorcan Finnegan, which was cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to stick around for it, but I did because the movie was so weird and so interesting. I wanted to hear them discuss it, and Nicolas Cage is just a fun guy to listen to. He's very unique, and he's very passionate about movies. I got a comment on my YouTube short that I made about this film from Broken Dishes. Thank you for the comment. They say, it's Point Break plus Fight Club on acid. Yeah, you got the surfing of Point Break, you got the toxic masculinity and the materialism angle of Fight Club, and also some Wizard of Oz, actually, believe it or not, on acid. And that's what this is. So I was into it. I've been mixed on some of the weirder movies that Cage has done in recent years. I haven't seen all of them. Mandy is a big one that people love to talk about. I still haven't seen Mandy. I know I need to get on that one day. But there are things like Dream Scenario, which was rather strange, and I enjoyed it. Really liked Pig, which is not that strange. That's more straightforward, but he's definitely had some really good movies in recent years. There was a line in this movie. Julian McMahon says to Nicolas Cage, "Oh, so you're a family man, eh?" And I was like, yeah, he is. But anyway, I'm gonna give The Surfer a 3.5. I do think it's worth seeing if you want to see the weird Cage shit. The answers we got didn't completely work for me, and it was a little slow, but I did enjoy it overall, thought it was very unique. As a lifelong Nicolas Cage fan, the person who has seen Face Off more times than anybody else has seen Face Off, it's always good to say that one of his new movies is very good. But I think that about covers it for my opinion on The Surfer. Please leave your opinion down in the comments below. Whether you agree with me or you disagree, whatever you want to talk about, I want to have the conversation with you down there. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.